Here we go! Welcome to the technical start of Summer Games Fest 2025, starting with a Sony State of Play.
Sure, couldn't make it due to being, very tired, but we got Marco instead. So what do we start with?
Silhouettes.
People in Under the Rain. It's the Heavy Rain remake everyone wanted.
Rain on me, rain, rain.
Or it's raining in reverse.
Neon. Oh, I guess it's the next Yakuza Like a Dragon game.
Huh, is it already time for a new one?
The Yuga Gotoku team is very active, Marco. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Especially considering how
Yakuza with astronauts, what?
Is this Yakuza? Is this like a dragon on acid?
Considering the vibes, I wonder if this is the new Media Molecule game.
Jellyfish.
Miley.
Sushi with
Neon.
Whoa, man! This trip is awesome.
I don't remember Pragmata to looking like this.
Yakuza in space.
Okay.
What the fuck is
okay,
this?
Luminous or something like that?
Never mind. I was wondering if this was the new game by Media Molecule, but now that I'm looking more at it, maybe not.
It looks like Child of Eden.
Wait, is this
again? It's the gameplay is technically Puyo Puyo style. Obviously, it's something else, but I only heard by name Child of Eden. Marco, what is that supposed to be?
Oh, it was a Kinect and PlayStation movie in 2010 or 11.
Luminous
Oh, it is Luminous. Okay, yeah, all right.
Okay. Again, I don't remember that. Oh, it's VR.
Well.
It's on PS5 and VR.
I guess it makes sense.
Hello from Enhance. I'm Tetsuya Mizuguchi. ディレクターの石原隆です。ルミネスアライズのトレーラー楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。この秋、PlayStation 5、PSVR
VR2 is optional on this apparently.
You want to have your retinas blasted by all the psychedelic effects? Be our guest.
その世界はとても心地よく、プレイヤーを共感覚の世界へと導きます。
Forget your fears, forget your past life, forget the real life, and live in this world
Oh, these
forever.
guys made Tetris Effect.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
mean, I guess the cushion in the office must be really good if they produce this stuff.
Behold, Puyo Puyo, Visual ASMR Edition.
The absolute state of play.
Alright, let's see what you got.
What comes after dreaming?
Waking up.
I guess.
Waking out.
It's dreams within dreams.
Yes, and darkness within darkness.
With our third generation,
reality is just an illusion.
Is this whole stream gonna be tricky games?
What? Car?
Welcome to a city completely made by Apple.
Delphi Corporation.
This is Apple's dream world.
Delphi Corporation.
Literally.
Delphi.
That sounds like a bad guy.
Let's see about getting passed through to Earth.
God damn it, the stream is getting dragged.
Why are these things trying to kill us?
I know it's Joker.
Hal? Settle down now.
I'm sorry, Drova. Oh, it's Pragmata! There you go! Finally!
Okay, finally.
About fucking time.
What's Pragmata?
New IP from Capcom. It was revealed, a long time ago, and then delayed again. To the point where people speculated this was the new Deep Down, a game with an existing concept. But here we go, gameplay.
Hi, not Bioshock.
So it stars Maria and a Master Chief cosplayer.
John Dead Space has to protect Maria from Shadow the Hedgehog. Brilliant.
This feels like the return of Bioshock 2, playing as a decked-out macho man, my Big Daddy, who has to protect a little girl.
I mean, it's a bit more bulky, but the armor reminds me more of a protagonist of Vanquish. Also, it's cool that at least the child can actually it's incorporated in the gameplay. I thought we're gonna get an eco situation where she's literally just the escortee. Alright,
This is
do we have
Maria.
a
She
release
is the
date?
ultimate life form instead.
Okay. Look, how about we call you...
So the big question, is the child actually real or not?
And will the
I
child...
know that this is the kind of game that has the kind of twist at the end.
But
Alright,
then that
let's
would
see.
beg the...
Let's see.
If I was
Next
apologizing.
year, it's real, XD.
It's real. We promise.
That's a nice throwback to their apology for the delay.
Well, yeah, that's basically what they've been keeping doing, so...
That's it. If a child wasn't real, how would he be shooting the power
As in,
up that comes
she's
from
like
her
a robot
hands?
or something, that's what I mean.
Oh,
It's
man.
insane.
Fair enough.
Oh,
In that case,
how?
better question. Will the child die at the end or not?
I don't know. Oh god, the frame rate. Honestly, Jonah,
It's
maybe...
intentional.
Maybe the twist is that the child is like a manifestation of the protagonist, deceased daughter or something. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my.
So, this is a game with an intentionally low frame rate.
And an art style that's probably inspired by stuff like My Judge cartoons. Oh, great. It's a good thing Shiro is not here for this. Christ.
Is this a VR game?
With nanomachines, son.
Where you apparently...
I don't think it said VR.
Which turns you into... Oh, Romeo is a dead... What? Is Suda51 directing this?
I
Okay, no,
wonder...
it's not a VR game, clearly.
The style does remind me of Beetle Killer is Dead and The Shadows of the Damned. And the monster design does remind me that too.
Dead man.
More like Dead Mom.
Ha ha ha.
Japanese text, whatever that
I'm a
means.
dead man.
It also feels a bit like Lollipop Chainsaw as well.
Yeah, again, I'm getting huge Suda51 vibes for this.
Ultra-violent science fiction.
I would be very surprised if it's not him.
Especially with all these art styles, that's also a Suda
Coming
51
next year.
trait.
Coming 2026.
Maybe,
God, I mean,
yeah.
I couldn't see the
I
credits.
couldn't read the
I don't think they mentioned the company behind it, though.
Although the main character is voiced by Pitt.
Oh, there you go, Grasshopper Manufacturer.
Yeah, it is
There you go.
51. Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
It's a fingerprint, basically. And Ren Yamazaki.
Yep, created by Suda51 and Ren Yamazaki.
There he is, the man himself. In case you're wondering where the 51 in his nickname comes in, that's his name, Goichi, as in Go-Ichi, 5 and 1. Romeo Stargazer.
Romeo Stargazer, who has the voice of Pitt.
Let me put it like this. Whether it's a good or a bad game coming from him, it is a game you will never forget with this man.
So as we have Devil May Cry in our garden, can't necessarily say at home.
That's a bit like that. You have to understand with okay, it's been a long while since we did Killer is Dead. Again, Suda is basically for making a simple, crude analogy, the Quentin Tarantino video games. He loves to, just have fun with something potentially very stupid.
Well, if you go by European and American release dates, you're not late.
Let me put it like this. Suda51 will just do whatever is on his mind. And I mean that in a good way, since you can definitely tell he puts a lot of work behind each release.
This what? This Project Zero?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Project Zero's That Fatal Frame. Oh, it's Silent Hill.
Oh, Silent Hill.
Oh, this is okay. This is wait on for a while. This is the Silent Hill that is written by the guy who made the Igurashi games.
So, you know,
So you can expect a lot more. You know, you have to expect a lot of the horror side.
I'll admit,
Also,
part of me is...
I think this is the first major Silent Hill that involves an actual Japanese cast. Usually it was mostly rooted, you know, in... I forgot which part of America it was.
So a Silent Hill written by Ryukishi 07.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. I'm almost kind of surprised he... Uh-oh.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I gotta have the iron pipe.
Part of me is almost kind of surprised it took this long for Ryukishi to write for Silent Hill, honestly.
Well, obviously that depended also for Konami's part, so...
Oh, true, true.
Dream.
That is a good point. There was a good time we thought Silent Hill was pretty much dead forever.
And like I said, it's like, for... The things that happened recently in Silent Hill, some have been good, but others not so much. Like the social experimentation game was very weird.
Ugh. So this is a Silent Hill game that takes place in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I swear, if Ryukishi does the cheeky thing and makes it so that this is somehow an offshoot of Hinamizawa...
Oh, Jesus. I like the fact that the monsters, they seem to respect the Silent Hill Bible by having the monsters being, you know, a representation of the character instead of, you know, copy-pasting once again the nurse and Pyramid Head.
I'm still waiting for when Pyramid Head shows up, though, because they can't help themselves.
One of the more recent game, as I told Toshiro, it did have a variant of Pyramid Head, but it was very personal, so I did appreciate that. So Sakura
Maybe the... I guess they could do a samurai variant of Pyramid Head.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell?
How heartless.
Silent Hill F. The F stands for fuck you.
Or that could be, if the game's bad, that's what they could
September
give the rating.
I mean, come on, Konami, couldn't you wait one more month and make it a Halloween release?
I know,
it's only a few days before October, so...
I guess it's also because October tends to be super crowded every single year, so...
And you can pre-order it today.
Like, they're practically at October's doorstep anyway with the September
16th
25th release.
The castle has been sighted again.
Arbor Wolfman.
The Church's orders are absolute. These human sacrifices must be stopped. We will track the ethereal castle, break its
it's a Metroidvania.
and exterminate the
Wait, is this an actual new Castlevania game? Or is it Bloodstained 2 from Iga?
Exterminate, what Jesus, where are the Daleks?
You will face horrors beyond your
Considering the monster design, I guess it might be Mr. Bloodstained.
Creatures born of pure darkness.
Yeah, even the art style, the type of cell shading reminds me of the first Bloodstained, so it probably is the sequel of that, because it was announced a while ago.
Wait a minute. Was that an Alucard costume?
Okay.
We start our mission.
There, mission done. Hold our swords up in the air.
Till death.
I will say, though...
There it is, Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement.
Wow, they even gave it an actual CGI trailer. Now that's definitely
well, that's the thing. Again, Iga made a lot of money with the first Bloodstained.
True,
I'm to blame as well.
Thanks, Marco. Now, seriously, thanks. We need more games like Bloodstained. That game was awesome. Alright,
here's
so
Bunk.
Bloodstained
Is
sequel.
it about Digimon Cyber Slot time traveling? Yes, I think it is.
Either that or that new
cool,
Everybody's
cool.
Golf game took a weird turn.
But the situation here is critical. I'm counting on you, Agent.
Time Stranger.
Yosh.
Marco,
With
you
my
have more
Digimon.
experience with the Digimon games, you know, because I've only experience with the anime series. Do we keep the running gag of killing Leomon stupidly in each also of the games?
Who exactly are you working for? I remember you guys.
I'm trying to think, but I don't think, at least in the later, the last Cyber Sleuth, I don't think Leomon even appears.
Okay.
I mean, it appears as a, I think it appears as a Digimon that you can use.
Okay, not as a, you know, semi-important character. Okay.
I don't think so.
I will say the people who fought tooth and nail to get Cyber Sleuth localized are probably breathing sighs of relief that ideally the war is over now and we don't have to worry about Digimon stuff actually coming overseas now.
Well, it's gone a step further now. It's got actual English voice acting in it.
The World Tree has been attacked.
Just as the Great One, Plutomon said.
It can't protect anyone. We must protect the world from them. For this purpose and this
But to
purpose
be
alone,
fair, I
we
haven't played neither Survive nor the Digimon World one.
Alright, so this game seems to be about a bunch of time cops trying to stop a dystopian future where Digimon are destroying the world.
You know, as you do. Oh, this one is actually a Halloween release.
Wait, March? Oh, wait, no.
Just another day in the Digimon universe where beings from the internet can
Oh, here
literally
we
jump
go,
out of the
Square
screens
Enix,
and kill
Square
you.
Enix.
Creative Studio 3,
Alright.
so Yoshi P. Sweeping Epic Return. Yeah, there you go. There's the Tactics remaster. This was highly anticipated. It was in the Nvidia leak, and Yasuo Matsuno tweeted this. So I guess Yoshi P's team is dedicated to doing this remaster. I mean, sure, he's a Evilist fanboy to the core, so.
The powerful must rule the weak. It is our duty. Heavens fall.
I mean, okay, it doesn't look too much different. I get the idea we just have a low quality improvement
And yeah, being a
voice acting
Yoshi P
everywhere.
production, of course the voice acting is British.
Oh, so they replaced Phil Lamar as Rams. I kind of liked him.
Yeah, that is a shit. That's a big miss, honestly.
This is just one game?
Oh, you can even switch between the graphics and the translations, even.
Yeah, that's because the original PlayStation 1 translation for Tactics was a choice. So the PSP version tried to be more accurate and, you know, use the Alexander Smith school of thought about, you know, being more prose heavy. But a lot of people were broken between the two.
We hope you enjoyed
Evil
that
East
first look at
Chronicles,
Final
there you
Fantasy
go.
Tactics, the Evil East Chronicles.
I mean, I'm not sure why calling that. I think War of Alliance was a good subtitle for the PSP version. You could have just
Try and differentiate it, I guess.
Well, you could have just called War of Alliance Remastered, because if you call it Evil East Chronicles, it gives me the impression that it might also include Advance 2, which it doesn't.
I don't think they needed to
Also,
get rid
this
of
weird ass thing though of them walking in place.
It's
I don't
part of
think they needed-
symbolizing the turn-based structure of a tactical game. You'll see eventually, Lives, because of course I'm getting this.
This next game is something really special. When I first played it, I laughed so hard I almost barfed. Let's check it out.
But is there maybe just toilet?
Toilet?
Yeah, I just need to pee.
How badly?
Just normal. Bad.
Just go behind this bush.
This is the one where you were looking for, Pedro, I think.
Pea shy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you don't want me watching.
I keep forgetting, like, Baby Steps, I think it's called.
Baby Steps, yes.
A game in which people's arms seem to be frozen by their sides.
Which is easier said than done.
It's a literal walking simulator, but, you know, that's the challenge.
Progress. It's a captivating open-world experience filled with oddball characters.
Here we go. Knock, knock. Oh, no.
Wait, do you have to actively play him taking a shit?
Oh, good.
Definitely check this one out.
September 8th, one day before my birthday. No.
Not for me.
Origami is a
Origami
unique
from
action-adventure
Bandai
title from
Singapore.
Bandai Namco Studios
The
Singapore.
Singapore, the other Singapore branch.
In this journey to save your origami home, you'll transform into paper shapes with distinct abilities, including a paper airplane, a nimble
So
frog,
Scott Shelby's craft has gone so wrong that the origamis are actually taking, becoming alive overall. Be very afraid.
Of course.
The narrator doesn't seem too convinced by the game.
Origami arrives on PS5 later this summer. Sid, why don't you tee this next one up?
Thanks, Sean. The Hot Shot series has been with PlayStation from the very
It's
beginning.
everybody's
and its
golf,
latest
damn it.
installment, Everybody's Golf Hot Shots boasts
There.
its largest character roster ever.
We're doing the thing of combining the two titles to please both, versions.
Yeah. A lot of franchises actually have done this in recent years.
Pre-orders begin later today.
I'm actually surprised they didn't do the same
Pac-Man,
thing.
there you go.
Namco's iconic Pac-Man is an
I'm actually surprised they didn't do the same thing with Like a Dragon.
Everybody's Golf Hot Shots drives onto PS5.
Could have even had it as the subtitle too. Yakuza Like a Dragon.
That's the 7th game. Oh, this is the Ninja Gaiden game on the Blasphemous team. I'm actually looking forward to this.
From the makers of the Blasphemous series, Ragebound stars dual protagonists from rival clans.
Who normally makes Ninja Gaiden?
Tecmo Koei. So Team Ninja. We have a little team called Team Ninja. That it was built to do this. But over the years they've been doing so many different other stuff.
Kudos to them.
Have they done a 2D?
No, that's the thing. The 2D style was abandoned after the NES era, and it was relegated to people always thinking it's too damn difficult, but the cutscenes were amazing. That was it. So it's kind of interesting that they're revitalizing this specific aspect.
Interesting.
From the game bakers,
Tired.
Cairn is a
I think we saw
survival
this is in
climbing
another
experience where you must
showcase,
carefully plan your ascent up the
climbing a
Deku
mountain
Mountain.
simulator.
Around here it's pronounced Cairn.
Manage balance and stamina to discover secrets.
Hey, wait for me!
Encounter other climbers.
I'm sure William Shatner is very interested in this.
And survive the harsh.
William Shatner and Tom Cruise.
It's the opening credit scene of Star Trek V expanded into a video game.
But why does the climber want to climb the mountain?
You can give it a try
Yeah.
yourself with a
So
demo
where's
that
Spock gonna
arrives
come
later
with his
today.
jet boots?
That's all from us, but there's still a lot of State of Play to come.
This next reveal comes from the game preservationist at Digital Eclipse. Nothing can prepare you for their next collection.
all right.
Arriving later
Alright,
this year.
let's see what it is.
Let's see what's Digital's next collection then.
Looks like it's a bunch of arcade stuff.
Oh, in Mortal Kombat, the font seems to be that.
Oh, please tell me.
Therefore, Street
Please tell me.
Fighter, TMNT.
And developers of Street Fighter.
Collection, yeah.
There it is.
They are.
Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. See, this is what we should have gotten back in the PS3 days.
I'm so glad so many studios.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I didn't even get 4. We even get 4.
I'm so
Okay,
glad
I wish we could have gotten gold instead of 4, but because remember 4 is the standard version instead of the ultimate gold version. But I guess.
Can we get the version of 4 with those FMV cutscenes?
No, that's a thing. That's 4. They're getting 4, which means you get the shittier, even funnier cutscenes instead of the FMV ones. So this is perfect for you.
Even the Game Boy Force.
Well, remember, Tail, this is what Digital Eclipse has been doing this with the recent collections. This is their thing.
And all playable with online netcode, rollback included.
Who we were and what we wanted to do.
All right, if it's made by Digital Eclipse, then it's guaranteed to be great. So because these guys have been throwing excellent collection after excellent collection after excellent collection, so
this probably would have been the go-to version if we were still doing the
you can make good decisions sometimes.
Yeah, just if you don't want to make it yourself, give it to Digital Eclipse. Just let them cook.
Is it an arcade stick? An arcade controller for the PlayStation?
Probably.
You mean a gamepad?
There it is.
Probably.
Yeah, so there you go.
First fight stick made by PlayStation.
You see?
Okay,
So stop
sure.
buying the bootleg ones. Oh, MGS3.
Alright, Snake Eater.
Sorry, I
So,
forgot it's supposed to be
it's
Delta.
So it's interesting. At first, we were led to believe that they were only going to use archive footage from recordings, but it seems like they may actually be recording some new lines for the
Again,
story
like I think I
after
told
all.
you in the past, Drova, they basically brought the voice actors that they can to actually have a bunch of new stuff about it, and only use archive for the most part, especially with the characters who were voiced by people who retired, as in Michael Bell and Jim Ward.
Oh, I do like it. It's just that that's definitely a change from what they were advertising originally. I do wonder if at first they were trying to make it seem like they were keeping it exactly the same until easing people in later.
I can also see that so far Vol'jin's electricity seems to be more pleasing for the eyes, so that's also a plus. And there's the
Pardon
people.
me. Yes. And Ape Escape.
And if you don't have a PlayStation,
It's
get
something.
Bomberman
Well, the
instead.
PC version actually still includes this. Sony apparently made a deal for the Steam version to have it. It's the Xbox version. That's something different.
250828 out. Why not
Yeah,
put
'cause
out
we-
before the date? I don't.
Is that a Frogger?
No.
Yeah, it was a Frogger plushie. Oh, new camo.
Why didn't they just do that all the time? Just turn into.
And more.
Oh?
Spirit stones.
Guess more we have to find out later.
Yeah.
Imbued with humankinds.
Koitagmo is this Nobunaga's ambition?
Yeah, but and more with these things, suddenly they'll have to fight samurai.
Well, who knows? Maybe they'll throw in a sequel hook for whatever
Is
game
this
they're planning
Neo
to remake
Free?
next.
Yes, from Team Ninja, so I'm guessing it might be Neo Free.
We were just talking about Team Ninja earlier.
That's basically Team Tecmo Koei's answer to Dark Souls. Yeah, again, that's also what inspired Tetsuya Nomura to make Stranger of Paradise. The thing is that
starts.
Neo 2, okay, the first Neo was fairly bonkers because it was using a perspective and not many people had talked about. But the second one, I argue, story-wise, felt a bit weaker. Only the DLC made it a bit interesting, so I hope this one improves that.
How foolish of you to have entered the depths of hell.
There we go. Neo for
What if I wanted to visit the depths of hell, see what it's like?
You don't want to, Dweebs.
Who might you be, warrior?
Tokugawa Takechiyo.
Early next year.
We're looking at the Tokugawa era.
皆さんこんにちは、チーム忍者の安田です。戦国死にゲーシリーズの最新作「仁王3」をついに発表させていただきました。今作のアクションはシリーズおなじみの侍スタイルに加え、新たに忍者スタイルを追加。より多彩な戦闘を楽しめます。
Once again, basically more Japanese devs saying, yes, we really like Ghost of Tsushima, please enjoy.
本日よりプレイステーション5で
We got a demo
配信いたしますの
today.
で、ぜひプレイしてご意見をいただければと思います。2026年の発売に向け、続報にもぜひご期待ください。
Interesting. A demo for a game we're going to have to wait at least half a year for.
Mystery, Silent Shadows, these are my tools.
So this is PlayStation VR.
Mm-hmm.
2.
For me, it's all I've ever known.
Actually,
My
wait, is this?
Is this Harry Potter?
No.
No.
I was actually instead, okay, I was actually instead thinking of Thief.
free to take whatever I need.
Well, Thief, I don't see Square Enix here.
Because they don't own it anymore. They actually gave it to...
It's Eidos, right?
Yes, but now they gave it basically the right to the Embrace. That's one of the IPs that fell onto the Embracer group, basically. I mean...
Yeah, they still kept Gex.
It's, yeah, Eidos Montreal.
Yeah, Eidos Montreal.
I think it is Thief, actually. Wow,
Loading disembodied hands, my favorite.
I wonder if they got Stephen Russell back to Liz Garrett, who's the protagonist.
To be taken. But some treasures.
Yeah, this seems like a new Thief game, but again, I just never have dug VR games that have blatant disembodied hands. I get that there's only so much the tech can
There
do,
it
but...
is, Thief VR, Legacy of Shadow. Oh, okay, we have a new protagonist. Okay.
Tidewalker, are you there yet?
From DigiZarts.
Enjoy the pastel version of Waterworld. God, the color scheme is assaulting me.
Beautiful, isn't it? But yeah, no, this definitely looks like Waterworld, just colorful.
This game is the answer. This game is what someone would say is like, oh, what's that? You hate games at a grayscale? Well, fine, here, have your fucking color.
Here's the saturation being pumped to the extreme.
Has been dying. Plastemia has taken everything from us. But you Tidewalkers are all connected. Stop right there! And it's up to you now to use that power.
Choose who you follow.
Uncover their choices. Deal with their consequences.
Hey, I don't know these people. I should have to deal with their consequences.
Okay, so from what I can understand, the idea is that in story, this person has the power of all these visions, but in game, it's basically using the choices and what other players did.
Based on that, seems ambitious. I wonder if they can actually pull it off.
I hope the game can run it. Like, being able to keep record of all these different players' options. Or,
I guess it's the trade is that it would be more simplistic, you know, it's presented, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'm Nicholas Duce.
Oh, here's Nicholas Duce.
Hey, Nicholas.
So are we finally having paid DLC for
For the last
Astrobot?
few months, he has been in the world of Astro. Astrobot launched last September to such encouraging feedback.
Yes, it won Game of the Year. It was amazing.
We are truly grateful for. In October, we added 5 speedrun levels, followed by a Christmas special packed with festive surprises. And then
Yeah, you got all the free updates.
Galaxy made its appearance,
Cute.
adding yet more new challenging levels, all of which came at no additional cost. And today, I am pleased to announce that later this month, you will be able to enjoy 5
Here
brand
we
new
go.
challenge levels in Astrobot, bringing the
5
total to
new
whopping
challenge
90
levels.
planets.
90
New
planets.
special bots will be
New
there
special
too,
bots.
including
Oh,
Atsu
that goes
from
to
Ghost of
Yote, one
Yote,
based. Okay.
alongside other fans' favorites, but these ones are a surprise. And finally, the Astrobot DualSense
And
wireless
themed
controller will return
Astro
later this year
controller.
with a slight twist. So be on the lookout for more news.
With a slight twist,
From all
apparently.
of us at Team Asobi, thank
Can you imagine if
for
the
amazing
eyes can
reception
actually
in the Game
animate in
game.
there?
And enjoy
I think
the
Kojima
rest
was
of the
actually
show.
wielding one of these in one of his recent photos.
Right. And this is what happens after Astrobot.
God damn.
Memories go, memories stay, memories go, memories stay.
Wait,
chasing
wait,
the sound
wait,
of
wait,
the
wait.
waves.
Wait, oh no! Agent 47 is drowning!
See remnants? What?
Oh.
Is this the new
Wait.
IP that was being done by what's it called?
Is this Monkey Island?
It looks too ambitious to be Monkey Island. No, remember, Monkey Island its core is still, you know, an adventure game based point and click
Point and
based.
click.
Yeah, this feels... Okay, some things seems to be a bit automated, but no, this is definitely an action component. Again,
Yeah,
the
this is
idea is
something
just
different.
a new IP. Again, maybe it's the one that Blue Point was making. I seem to remember one screenshot that resembles something like this.
Well, no, like based on what we know, Teo, they were working on a God of War live service
No,
game
but
for
the
some
data tester
reason.
Insomniac showcased a screenshot of the new original IP they were developing, supposedly.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think so. Like this looks more. If anything, this looks more like a Sea of Thieves spin-off or some shit.
Definitely has that. Oh, turn-based RPG
Yeah.
sequences. Okay.
Also, Ariel, what are you doing?
Sorry, Pedro. She became the bad
Turn
girl.
to the dark side.
I guess.
So,
Our protagonist boy is like puppet.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is
it's
like a
supposed
pirate game done in the universe of the Book of Life.
Yeah, kinda. That's what it reminded me of. Oh, that's the title. See you, Remnant. Coming 2026.
Who makes...
Oh well, I guess we'll see eventually.
They didn't even mention who made this game.
Oh, it's the
Weird.
same studio with it's like that game company. One who did Abzu and Journey, Flower and Flow.
Never mind.
Well, this one I'm talking about, Drova.
Nah.
The one from
This
before,
one actually
just
feels
with
like
the article.
Yeah, this one actually does feel like it's clearly trying to emulate the in a lot of ways. The architecture feels very Journey-esque.
But the water instead reminds me of Abzu. Again, it seems they're combining stuff from their previous ventures.
The Journey of Abzu.
Maybe this basically combines the two into one shared universe, essentially.
Again, the stories of both Journey and Abzu are
look at this.
fairly abstract.
Yeah, these sequences are clearly trying to harken back to Journey.
Does Journey belong to Sony?
Yes and no. It's more of a case where, you know, it was ported everywhere, but since it started on the PS3, they maintain a good relationship with that. At least as far as I understand. Abzu was definitely self-published. Sword of the Sea. This August. PS5.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Zatani. That was a new look at Sword of the Sea, a visually striking adventure from the team behind Abzu and The Pathless. We're excited to announce that Sword of the Sea
Oh,
will
it's gonna
launch
be
this
a
summer
PS
into
Plus,
the PlayStation Plus game catalog.
free on launch day. Okay.
On the
On June
premium and
17th,
extra
Remedy brings
tiers.
otherworldly action to game catalog with
Oh,
FF
Remedy
Firebreak.
game.
That's basically
In this
Sony's answer
cooperative
to Game
FPS
Pass
set in the
Live.
Paranatural world of Control, you and two fellow agents must confront and contain the reality-warping chaos found within the oldest house. Fun in short bursts
FBC
or deep dives,
Firebreaker.
FBC Firebreak launches day one in the game catalog on June 17th. The PlayStation Plus
Oh, do we have
Classics
one
catalog
last
welcomes
thing?
several new titles this summer. The PS2
Oh,
version of
Deus
Legendary
Ex,
Immersive
Deus
Sim
Ex,
Deus Ex
The
arrives
Conspiracy.
June 17th.
Neat.
And Twisted Metal 3
In
and
July,
4.
Twisted Metal
Finally.
3 and Twisted Metal 4 join the service
Cool.
just in time
Yeah,
for
in
the
July.
second season
Wonder
premiere of
where's
Twisted
head
Metal,
on?
which arrives
Apply
July
directly to
31st
your
in
forehead.
select countries, including Peacock in
Yeah.
the US. Additionally, two of Capcom's most beloved games from the original PlayStation. are
Wait,
set to join the
there's gonna be a
Classics lineup.
movie, a Twisted Metal movie.
There's the series.
The PS1 versions of
Later
Resident
this
Evil
summer
2 and 3.
catalog.
Yep.
Additionally, Myst and
And of course, Myst and Riven, these were announced previously because
And
of the
Riven, the
Disney.
sequel to this.
Yeah, again, I will say this, however, just stick to the more recent PC versions. These are cute as, you know, a novelty of the past, but they are better versions of the game to get. I think even on PlayStation. So,
His
alright,
parents
here we
cut
go.
their own
Let's
road
see.
to save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain.
Oh, 101. That's the James Bond game.
Oh,
it's James Bond.
Yep, it seems like it.
top of his class.
Always at odds with authority. Same thing in the
God, I think I saw that actor somewhere else. Like his face does seem familiar.
Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless.
So that begs the question, who is playing the James Bond in this game?
Put him in the program, Mom.
Or did they did like Indiana Jones and put the likeness of someone and have Troy Baker?
No, I said they aren't doing that.
Without a target. Let's give him one.
Is that Chris Pine?
Chris Pine is James Bond.
I mean, as a young...
He did say a younger one.
As a younger one could work, yeah.
He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
So who voices him?
I swear, this. Why does the Spawn remind me of Tom Cruise? And yes, Tom Cruise even now because
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, and yes, Tom Cruise even now because he just refuses to age.
You have to remember, both the Bourne series and Mission Impossible were the ones where they're spanking 007's ass in the early 2000s. So I get the idea someone at MGM never let go of that.
Honestly, Tom Cruise's James Bond could work. Weirdly enough.
It doesn't look like James Bond though. It's weird.
I mean, James Bond's look different every time.
Yeah, like, okay, to be fair,
it doesn't have the aura, you know?
I think what Marco might be saying...
that's kind of the point.
I think what Marco might be saying is that this is a slightly more serious version of James Bond Jr.
You see, guys, this ain't your granddaddy's James Bond. This ain't your granddaddy's, your dad's, or your grandmom's James Bond. But of course, it wouldn't be James Bond without fast driving, smart acrobatics,
or the Majesty Secret Service theme.
Cute.
First Light, yeah, we know what the title was. So I guess it's finding itself as an origin story, maybe, for the character.
Yeah, it says it's an origin story.
Why am I getting Uncharted vibes?
Teachable moment.
Coming next year.
But yes, this is the story of how that cool new city...
The Golden Gun is pre-order. Okay.
I thought the Golden Gun, that's a golden...
Tune in for the gameplay reveal this summer.
Hello, I'm Hakan Abrak, CEO of Iron Interactive. The team is thrilled.
This is the story of how that young little punk became the most legendary agent of all time.
In the Royal Navy. Before the tuxedo and the martinis, as he first steps into
and watch them insert this into the old Connery continuity.
I mean, to be fair, Joe, considering, you know, the structure more as an anthology wouldn't even damage things too hard.
You know, if you say modern day, but remember, the Brosnan stuff is in the same continuity as the Connery stuff. So yeah, sliding time scales can pretty much do wonders.
The boys see more at that I.O. where I direct. And on Switch 2 as well.
Alright, I guess we're concluding with one of the... Oh, there goes to Yote. There you go.
Awesome.
To be fair, again, it's supposed to come out soon enough. I'm more surprised, like, there's still not enough, even a teaser of the Wolverine game.
Well, again, remember, one of the studios struck in that voice actor strike is Insomniac.
Okay.
Honestly, that Wolverine game, I would not be surprised if it gets to a point where we see it as a hybrid for PS5 and PS6 releases. Especially if word that the PS6 might not be as far away as we think it is. But yeah, Ghost of Yote is a good game to end this on. It basically looks more like... It's basically more of Ghost of Tsushima, which... Yeah, sure.
That's fine by me. Like, Ghost of Tsushima is, in my opinion, the best first-party PlayStation 4 game. So... And this is still made by the same team, Nate Fox, and I forgot the other guys, Jason Connell, I think. Yeah, it's still being made by the exact same team because
Deep Dive coming in July. Oh, so we get its own state of play.
Basically, it's gonna get its own state of play. That's basically it. Oh, hold on, something else.
So you get
Arc
to
system
San
works. Huh?
Arc system works.
Doing a Marvel game.
What?
Wait, what? Fighting?
Okay, you got me interested. Go on.
Oh god, it's Saint.
Oh my god, it's
Marvel. It's Marvel vs. Capcom, just Marvel. It's Marvel superheroes done by Arc System.
Marvel versus.
Oh, Miss Marvel.
That's it. That's the name.
Okay, I'm sold. I don't need to see anything else.
I'm guessing the reason PlayStation Studios is involved with this because of Spider-Man, I guess.
Possible.
Oh my god. Marvel fighting game done with Arc
Hey, that's the
System.
Injustice hero transition to the different stage. Oh god, oh, it's Star Wars.
No, remember Marco, right now PlayStation owns the video game rights for Spider-Man, that's why they're making the Spider-Man games themselves.
But that doesn't make sense, because Spider-Man is in Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, it's the new Ghost Rider.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I guess that makes sense too. And I wonder why PlayStation Studios is involved in this then.
They're just promoting things, giving money. Oh, the Doctor Doom, my god.
This is likely gonna be multi-plat, so they're just like showing it first here, most likely. I see that they're doing Danny's version of a Ghost Rider.
Storm, huh?
Hey,
Oh, of course, you gotta have Storm.
God, she's so cool.
What's interesting is how, despite them being Marvel characters, we're only hearing their Japanese voices.
Wait, it's
kind of interesting.
4v4? So
Yes.
you choose 4 characters?
Okay.
My head. Here's my. Okay, I've got a head canon. All the characters in the they all decided to learn Japanese in case they ever fought there and they need to warn the civilians.
Marvel Total and Fighting Souls. Coming
That's
next
quite a
year.
name.
Sure.
To PS5 and
Alright.
PC.
So it is?
So apparently it is a PlayStation published game apparently, yeah. If it's not.
Yeah.
But it's part of their... What?
Oh.
Sorry, we have to cancel that announcement.
Like, we know it's also coming to PC as well.
They're gonna add Capcom now. No, I'm joking.
No way they wouldn't.
Yokohama, Japan.
Okay.
It is a nice looking place.
ステーションの友人から急になんか飲みに行こうぜっていう連絡が来て、
Okay.
なんのこっちゃと
Okay.
思って
Hey, that's normal.
It seems like a lot of people develop games just by meeting in a bar.
マーベルの格闘ゲームを
Oh, basically.
Oh, talking about.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is me.
okay.
You wonder how I got into this
いや本当に聞いた時
situation.
はびっくりしました、まあ世界的に本当に有名な IP ですし光栄だなと思いつつもまず本当にうちの会社で大丈夫かなという不安も
Well,
あ
but
り
if you weren't sure about it, then why would you take on the project?
To see if it works.
I mean,
Sometimes you have to
they-
take risks with.
They did Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is almost as big as Marvel, so...
The inspiration for working on this project really came from a place of pure fandom and wanting to say, why isn't PlayStation in this space?
So PlayStation approached us with this vision to bring Marvel back to the forefront of the tag fighting genre. And
Also,
that got us
there's
really
going to be a
excited
ton of
because we
DLC
looked at the
potential
horror
for
and
this.
I mean, again, I get the considering also the simultaneous release on PC. Yeah, they're treating this as a game as a service, most likely.
This is probably being, considering Fighters is finished, this is probably being made by the Fighters team.
That's sad, I kinda wanted a sequel.
Would you be interested?
When they named the developer,
Marvel versus Dragon
it's
Ball?
always refreshing to work with a team that will take on the
Please,
challenge.
okay, to be fair, Jovan, no, when it comes to superhero, everyone wants to see Goku fighting Superman instead.
Can we have Marvel versus Astrobot?
What are you talking about, Tia? We already got Superman vs. Goku at least 3 times.
I'm gonna try to pretend I haven't heard that.
Have I ever told you
The
about the
tricky thing is
definition
that
of
most fans,
insanity?
including myself, see this as a sacred genre for Marvel. The tough part is finding a partner that's crazy enough to take on the task, because you either do something like this big and
I wouldn't be
bold,
surprised
or
if
you
this
don't
can
do it.
find its way to some other consoles too if the other companies throw enough money their way.
Also because, you know, it's a licensed product, so it might be also the case of Marvel say, like, make the Switch 2 port 1 year after.
Pretty much, yeah.
Something that went beyond that.
I guess it depends how involved PlayStation is, right?
Mm-hmm.
一番最初にマーベルさんに提出した時はなんとなくマイケルさんの反応はあんまり芳しくなかった印象があって、まあ何がまずいのかなっていろいろこうやっぱり直接話していくうちにもっとアークのやりたいマーベルを見せてくれというような話をいただいたことがあって。
And this is why Iron Man has basically Gundam armor this game.
You see, this is what if the Marvel Universe originated from Japan.
We already have the manga lines, Joe. That's where Big Hero 6 came from.
But you see, this is the official patented what if dimension for it.
I mean, considering still Marvel canonizes everything, this definitely has a place in the database. We just have to wait and see how it's cataloged. I mean, if Marvel can get a spot.
So if Iron Man's weapons fail, then you can always use those pointy things on his helmets to kill the enemy.
You know, I joke. Oh wait! Damage control. Oh, is that the mutant containment unit on site there?
Jova, no.
Part of me almost has to respect the pettiness of that one.
Is there a Savage Land stage?
What is going to be something that's different?
That said, I am a bit surprised. All these mutants, but no Wolverine. Like, I get it, probably DLC, but still.
It's just going now. For all we know, the initial roster will have, you know, more characters revealed along the way.
Yeah, probably. I'm just surprised because Wolverine's usually a guy you show like at the start.
Remember, after the MCU started taking off, and I forgot, I keep forgetting his name. Perlmutter, I think. Yeah, started probably stomping his feet on the ground. You know, the mutants and the Fantastic Four were basically unpersoned Soviet style, meaning that the Wolverine publicity was effectively censored. So
I know that, but
since the point where it's still remembered, but it's not as much as it used to be.
I'll tell you right now, a lot of
the thing about Wolverine popularity is it technically was still there, but they couldn't do it officially, which, yes, that was insane given how some omnibuses which were effectively recollections that heavily featured some of these characters, had to make custom titles taking them off, even though they were still in the damn stories. But yeah, no, like, I feel like we've been out of those Dark Ages for a while now that they could totally go back to it. Like,
I mean, Rivals did have the Wolverine, so again, it's more again, as mentioned in this interview, it's more like the game that ArcSys want to make, the roster they want to pick, I guess.
Ultimate Alliance 3 also had the mutants like in the front.
Yes, and also Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, now Alliance 3 was basically Marvel going, look, Perlmutter's gone. We can now bring in a lot of the characters you wanted.
You're still with me?
Anyway, we got the recap.
This was a fine state of play.
As usual.
Seems the upcoming battle is truly unavoidable.
Alright, I guess we can start the final thoughts. Please.
I mean, it was a solid one with a lot of variety. My pick of the bunch is obviously Hitman. First Light 007, although it is kind of like Hitman, albeit from the looks of it, it's a bit more involved than Hitman games. Apparently there are car levels. There's a lot more. The shooting can pack a lot more of a punch on things that aren't just people. And yeah, look, from the looks of it, all that development effort that we didn't really hear much about, aside from like little bits and pieces we've been hearing, does look to be worth it. And goes to Yote. Or granted, we have to wait for another direct for that, but that looks good too. There's Metal Gear Solid Delta, Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots. Yeah, all in all, some pretty solid director. They're looking forward to seeing a lot of these games in action, and also the upcoming Summer Game Fest and the IOI stream. So see a bit more of the 007 game. And that's it for me. It's all pretty good fun.
Java.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, honestly, this was a state of play that worked for me. Like, pretty much from start to finish, there were pretty much good announcements. The only announcement I really didn't care for was the VR2 stuff. Not because I don't have a VR2 stuff, but I feel like the VR stuff has never truly captured that. I get it, somebody enjoys it, but I just feel like the immersion's lost when you're playing as a pair of disembodied hands. Unless you feel like that does help the immersion, in which case, more power to you. But as for the main stuff, Bloodstained 2, that's a nice surprise. I like the first one, so yes, by all means, give me more for the second one, which it looks like they are indeed upping that ante. I am mixed on the tactics news here. On the one hand, updated, brushed up, nice looking. What I'm more sore about is replacing the voice acting.
See, here's the thing, Java, that I was trying to say before. What I do understand to some degree, there's also the fact that the as much as it was a novelty, the game had like something like 5 minutes worth of dialogue in the entirety of the game, because the cutscenes were very little. In a lot of them there was actually no dialogue, and instead let the visuals talk. So what I would have preferred to have Phil Lamar reprise his role as Ramza. I'm fine with everyone else being recasted, because it really doesn't matter. And besides, if it's still a Portal Tactics, so that means it includes characters like Cloud and Balthier. So ideally, if they have their dialogues voiced, they will have to get Cody Christens and Gideon Emery for those.
Which, the better English voice for Cloud these days, though. I guess part of me was kind of wondering if they were really going to install all that voice acting, or mainly still keep it, mostly script-based.
We'll have to see. Again, if it's like Tactics Ogre Reborn, it probably will have a lot more voicing for the base dialogue.
I will be a bit surprised if they do add in the voice acting, since that's technically more money off their scope that they technically wouldn't have to do, but if they are, more
That's
power
one of the
to
selling
them,
points of a lot of remasters that is happening these days, Jova, like the one of Raido Kuzunoa. But remember, and again, a lot of the not all of them, but a lot of remasters that Square is doing did also have something like that going on. And again, considering this is handled by Creative Productions 3, and instead of another studio like, say, the ones that did, for example, the Saga ports, for example, it's clear that it's something a bit more is pumped up into it.
Possible. Let's see. The new 007 game. Okay. I'm not going to say the game looks bad, but I swear to God, when I first saw that younger James Bond, my mind immediately went to, he looks like Tom Cruise, and this feels like Uncharted. Not a knock against it, but man, I mean, okay, to be fair, supposed to be a younger James Bond, but that design is such a choice. That said, again, with the sliding timescale and all, I wouldn't be surprised if they put this into one of the old continuities, or who knows, maybe they'll start their own continuity with this, starting with his origins. I'll give them credit. To my knowledge, I don't think we've ever done the origins of James Bond before.
I think it was mostly apocryphal stuff, like non-main author novels, and again, I don't remember. Maybe James Bond Jr. talked about that, but I'd rather pretend that thing doesn't exist.
Okay, as for what happened at the start, Lumine's Arise was Okay, it was trippy, I'll admit. I had no idea what I was looking at first, but okay, it coming into focus. Yeah, it looks like a nice little novelty game here. Now, what was a real showstopper, or starter in this case for me, was Pragmata. It looks like a nice mixture of badass and adorable, with not Maria hopefully surviving to the end of the game and not just turning out to be fake, or the reincarnation of this guy's dead daughter. Well, I guess if she is the reincarnation, that means she lives, but you get the point here. And yes, the cheeky reveal date. Although, to be fair, they did only give a year, not a specific month, so God help us if we get another trailer that adds a sorry once again to that. But I digress. The game looks nice. Romeo is a dead man. The Madman Suda51 returns yet again. Holy cow. I will give Suda51 this. He has that knack to surprise and entertain. Even though not all of his games are winners, there are a few I'd say are kind of bad, but to give him credit, I feel like he's the kind of one who can garner attention enough to each of his installments. Like you mentioned, he's like the Quentin Tarantino of Japanese game devs, basically. And Romeo is Dead Man looks cool. I'll admit, some of the visuals do seem a bit overtly gruesome, which that's not unusual for Suda51. So I guess I'll just wait and see if the game's fun enough. Otherwise, maybe I'll just wait for a potential commentary of ours on it.
There's also the fact that, remember, at the same time, Suda is actually making another game that's being released this year, Hotel Barcelona, which is the game that he's collaborating with Swery in doing. That's actually one of the big selling points of that one. So he's a bit on a roll.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of being on a roll, Konami appears to be on a roll of trying to rehabilitate their reputation by giving us a brand spanking new Silent Hill game. This one surprisingly set in Japan. I mean, I feel like there were some comics of the series that moved to Japan and whatnot, but I think this...
Again,
but as far as I know,
announced last year.
As far as I know, mainline-wise, this is the first time we've ever actually had a Silent Hill thing take place directly in Japan, and yeah, it looks like it's on point with, the dreams being stylized to it. Again, I'm still waiting for them to eventually reveal another Pyramid Head, but hey, if they make it like a samurai edition of Pyramid Head, by all means, go all out. Digimon Story Time Stranger, which, like I said, is basically a victory lap for all the people who fought for Cyber Sleuth to come overseas, since, yeah, like Dribbs pointed out, now we're pretty much getting English voice acting right out the gate. Although, conversely, with what was probably my favorite reveal of the day, the Marvel fighting game, done by Arc System Works, oddly enough, started off in Japanese with the voice acting. I wonder if they're going to legit just go all in on this being a what if the Marvel Universe took place in Japan thing, or if we'll get English voice acting later down the road. Could be. But yeah, no, the Marvel fighting game was definitely my favorite reveal of the bunch here. Multi-plat, and it is, in fact, looking to be a bit of Arc System Goodworks juiciness. Regardless, the other stuff, Everybody's Golf, neat. Hiragami, neat. Baby Steps still seems neat. Karen looks fine. The Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection was a nice surprise, so yeah, overall, I enjoyed this State of Play well enough. Nothing spectacular, but it had pretty much just the right collection of games to keep my attention.
Sure. It was fine, I guess, but to be perfectly honest, I was expecting a bit more. The surprises at the end were pretty cool, and Pragmata looks really good, and I'm glad this time, because Theo knows, because he's played the PS3 collection too. I'm glad finally we're giving a Mortal Kombat Classic collection to a competent developer that knows what they're doing. We in the channel we did the Kawabunga collection, so Jova knows what I'm talking about when I said that the digital clip.
I was going to ask if the collection, the PS3 collection, is the same as the Steam one.
Wait, is the arcade collection on Steam? I wasn't even. I thought it was only.
It was delisted, but it was on Steam.
Well, whatever. No, the original arcade collection was made by Code Mystics, if I remember correctly. But the basic point is, yeah, it's great that now this time they gave this new collection to a developer that is right now the number, because since M2 has been strangely silent and absent in the realm of collections lately. I mean, they recently worked on the Metal Gear Solid Legacy, Master Collection, specifically the MGS1 emulation. But and they also worked on Secret of Mana Remaster. But in terms of actual collections, they haven't done one in a long time. So in recent years, Digital Eclipse has become the reigning developer for video game collections. The Colorado collection was absolutely excellent. Atari 50, like Dwibs has said before, also was great. They also made the Street. They also recently made their first original game, a Power Rangers game, which was in its final patch form. It's actually pretty good. It's not Shredder's Revenge good, but it's still pretty good. I think I enjoyed it. Not to mention it's their first ever original game, so I cut them some slack on whatever issues it had at launch. But so yeah, no, Digital Eclipse makes excellent collections, like demonstrated by the Cowabunga collection, and I will gladly trust them with the classic Mortal Kombat games. These guys have done great work, and I'm definitely getting that collection because it will be a great way. I already have my way of playing the arcade games, but it would still be nice to, because they also made recently the Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Disc collection, which is a great collection with some really good features. Like I said, so the highlight for me was the Metal Gear. Sorry, the
Metal Gear Solid Free remake.
No, the Mortal Kombat collection. Well, with Snake Eater, we already know it's coming. It already looks great. I've already pre-ordered it, so at this point, I'm just waiting for the game to release. I don't really need to see more at this point. I'm already sold. Yeah. Aside from that, Ghost of Yotei, of course, looks fantastic as always. I'm already sold because, again, I really have to get around to playing the Infamous games so I can properly catch up on, because I love the Sly games growing up, and I love Ghost of Tsushima. But I have all the Infamous games. Don't get me wrong. I actually own all of them. It's just that I haven't gotten around to playing them yet. So I really need to. Unfortunately, I still have to go for a lot of stuff on my backlog. But don't worry, I will get to them at some point. I already have them. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. No, I get. I know everyone knows the feeling.
Yeah. That's basically it. When it comes to Yotei, I'm sold. Just release it to me. I completely trust Nate Fox. He's never let me down. Remind me, Teo, was he the director of the Infamous games as well?
I think so. But I think so.
Okay, so the basic point is Nate Fox has never let me down. Ghost of Tsushima is one of my favorite games of all time. So having a new game in the series, I mean, that's just automatically a thing for me. The Marvel fighting game, what's it called again? Marvel
Toko something.
Whatever. The Marvel Arc System game. Again, it's probably being made by the Fighters team since they're done with that game.
Especially because instead the main team is currently still supporting Guilty Gear Strive.
And I think Grand Blue Fantasy Versus as well, if I remember correctly.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
So this is probably fans, but no, really, actually not. Sorry.
Damn.
Okay.
Is the ones that are working on Hunter x Hunter the same ones as
they might
Genep
be.
Duel?
What else? The puzzle game at the beginning, it looked cool, but I need to see more. But it was made by the Tetris Effect team, so I'm sure it'll be good. The main thing that I'm disappointed in, okay, we know about Ghost of Yotei. And okay, to be fair, this is going to be a first-party release, much like Marvel's Spider-Man. This is going to be a Marvel game that's going to be a first-person PlayStation game. And again, to PlayStation's credit, them going out of their way to get a Japanese developer to make a new first-party game for them, yeah, this is something that I didn't expect from them, considering they've been so Western-focused in recent years. So this is a good thing. It's
also because it was, as mentioned by the development interview, it was kind of a chance encounter more than anything. So it felt less of a corporate strict mandate and more genuine, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad that, as we've seen from this behind-the-scenes video at the end, that they're letting Arc System just do their thing. Like they even said, probably the original designs were more faithful to the ones we're used to, but then Marvel was all like, I mean, make these characters like how you would make it. I mean, we're getting
if I
you.
have to be honest, the designs are still fairly accurate. Some of them are more based on more recent design, like Doctor Doom, but they're basically almost spot on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Captain America is probably the most different.
Star-Lord, actually, I argue, Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. No, like I said, I really love Dragon Ball Fighters. So, and this game seems like it's being made by the same team. So again, I'm looking forward to it. The Bandai Namco that looks. I mean, Neo 3 looks good, so that should be interesting. I already know that they're not going to fix my main problem with. Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot stand the loot system.
I know.
I'm sorry. Even in Stranger of Paradise, for as much as I love that game, and for the record, the Stranger of Paradise game is made by the Neo team.
It's the same. Basically.
It's the same loot system in that game too, and I cannot stand it. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong; it doesn't ruin the games. It's just that it's so annoying to have to constantly micromanage your loot every single time you battle a thing in those games. It's
don't worry, I get it.
You'd think by this point they would come up with surely there must be a better way to handle the loot in these games. Surely, I mean, it can't. But whatever. I'm not here to talk about that. The point is this. It's a good state of play. It had variety. It had a really awesome surprise at the end with the Marvel fighting game. But I kind of wish we could really see something else. Like, I get that. Okay, like Dwight said, yes, Insomniac is a bit tied up with Wolverine because the voice actors are on strike. So that I can understand. Okay, fine. But okay, surely there must be something else you could have shown us, first party wise. Like just one more thing.
The Heretic game that Neil Druckmann is making still doesn't have a lot to show. Because it's a long way ahead. Again, regardless of what we think about that, I know.
Yeah. No. Sure. No. Well, this is the thing. Naughty Dog-wise, what I would like to see is what Sean Escaig is working on. For the record, for those who don't know, Naughty Dog's B team, aka not the Neil Druckmann team, they're working on their own single-player game, and all points signed to being a new entry in the Uncharted series. And Sean Escaig did a great job directing the Lost Legacy, a game starring Chloe.
I thought they were done with Uncharted.
Well, here's the thing. Uncharted 4 did leave room open for more, specifically for Nate's daughter to eventually become...
Yeah, that's the biggest speculation for everyone, Marco.
So, Uncharted 4 did leave enough open for a follow-up.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a prequel starring a younger Sully, if you ask me.
I really wish we could have seen something else, but again, whatever. That's what ifs. I'm not going to talk about what ifs. The point is, it was a good state of play. The problem is, after all of the terrible news of all the canceled live service games and what's happening to Bungie, PlayStation really needs to... Okay, don't get me wrong. The Marvel fighting game, that's a good first step, but you really need to deliver a banger of a showcase, like with really strong, great looking games that will distract us from what's happening behind the scenes. Like, they really need to do that at this point, because what's happening with Marathon and Bungie, what's happening with Fair Games and Haven Studio, it's not pretty. Their whole live service initiative is burning down. So yeah, they really need some kind of a banger. But well, I guess fortunately this year we're still gonna get Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei, so there's at the very least that. And like I said, this Marvel fighting game definitely is the first major proper first party announcement they've made in a while that really looks kick-ass. So yeah, it was a good state of play. But Sony really needs to deliver a banger to try to distract people from what's happening behind the scenes. All right, that's it for me. Marco, what do you think? Go ahead.
I'm going to say that, yes, I do agree it was a nice showcase. It had decent variety for sure. I'm gonna guess if I had to pick a few that I like more, would probably be the Romeo is a Dead Man. Yes. Silent Hill I have as well. Obviously Marvel. I like I said, they just showcased like Arc System Works plus Marvel, and I'm already sold. I don't need to showcase
Say no
anything
more.
else. Yeah. I might be interested in Luminous because I do like that style of those styles of games. I'm not too convinced with the 007 one, but to be fair, I'm not that big of a 007 fan, so everything else I'm not real doesn't really say much to me. It's not the type of games I play. I will say that in terms of actual first party, I actually agree that it didn't seem as strong. Yes, I mean, sure, like the Marvel one, if it is first party, then I think it's a big reveal, but I don't think people connect Marvel with Sony besides Spider-Man, right? So it's kind of like, and even, I don't know. So I'm gonna say that it probably feels a bit weak, especially with what Pedro was saying that they are getting a lot of bad press recently, right?
Yeah, Bungie right now is literally burning down, and yeah, they might just be closed as a studio soon.
Oh, that $15 million plus purchase was certainly a good decision.
Well, yeah, to be fair, Destiny wasn't already in the best of places, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna say something about Digimon, which I think I'm a bit scared that they might be putting too much budget in the localizations of the Digimon games. Because I still think they're kind of niche games, right? So if I'm a bit afraid that if they start putting a lot of budget in those localizations and the games don't sell, they'll just stop doing them. It's speculation, obviously, but I would be fine if the localization was more simpler, I guess. Especially, well, it comes to me at least. I'm not going to be playing it in English. Probably, I'll probably be playing with Japanese voice acting. It's just that when I look, this is a bit specific, but when I look like at store shelves and I see like countless copies of Survive and of the Digimon World 1, and they don't seem like they're selling. At least I feel like Capcom is putting too much faith in those games, especially because I think that Cyber Sleuth Duology did have like a more limited release. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see when it comes to that.
But I also think you meant Bandai Namco and not Capcom.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, I get it.
I guess I was looking at Pragmata. I was thinking of Capcom. Speaking of Capcom and Marvel, it is kind of interesting to see that it's not Capcom that's taking the Marvel license for fighting games. So it's gonna be interesting what they're gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna say it is a good showcase. I'm not sure if maybe the reason why we're seeing not a lot of new announcements, but more of games we already know, might be because some companies might be keeping their reveals for their own shows. I don't know. Right?
It's possible. Remember, we do have a Summer Games Fest show coming up this Friday.
3 days from now.
Yeah, and I guess I'm gonna say that a lot of eyes are on Nintendo this month because of the release of the console, right?
No, I don't think we're gonna get a direct before September, Marco.
At the time of this recording, so far, there's the State of Play, which was recently announced, which we just did, an Xbox Showcase coming up on Sunday. There's like several other more minor shows or more focused showcases. a PC Gamer show, one for Death Stranding. I think the one thing we have yet to have is Nintendo surprisingly announcing a Direct, which would pretty much complete the E3 feel of Summer Games Fest for this year, so we'll see if they do.
Didn't they announce one last year?
Yeah.
Right before the actual Direct? Wasn't something like that?
Well, that's the thing. Even regardless of the Switch 2, we did get a Direct not too long before that. I think not enough time has passed for them to make a new one, I fear.
When I mean that a lot of eyes are on Nintendo is because of the console's release, not because of new announcements. So I don't know if maybe Sony and Microsoft might want to keep more bigger reveals or bigger reveals, period, for later
I do know
on the year.
Right. I do know there has been some speculation that the PlayStation 6 might not be too far from being at the very least teased.
With the already controversial prices of the PS5 Pro, like what chances do they have to make good publicity by announcing that now?
It does really wonder, there's that, plus all the games they've had to cancel left and right, like Pedro mentioned. Mostly live service, but...
Here's what happens.
It's more like people don't want to spend $800 for a console. They might as well just get a PC at that point.
Pretty much. And it helps that a lot of Sony stuff is basically now available on PC, too.
How about this? Just tomorrow, PlayStation. Okay, guys, fuck it. We're bringing back Japan Studio, and we're bringing back a lot of these franchises. We're
that
making
would
a jack,
be quite
seriously, this will never happen, of course. This is me just joking, of course. But I could imagine, hey guys, this is the panic button, the bring back all the old PS that IP panic button.
Yeah, I'm mostly finished. Like I said, I don't think this is enough to change the Sony's image right now. They probably need to do a lot more.
All right, I guess I'll conclude. Just like with stuff like our State of Plays or Nintendo Direct, this is basically for me a good excuse to actually check a lot of these things that will have a port somewhere else, mostly on PC. And I have to say that I'm not disappointed. Luminous Arise at the beginning did not really tell me much. It's the kind of arcade experience that also is a trip visually, that I know it has an audience. I just probably will not have a high priority in playing that. Pragmata is welcome to see. We see gameplay, thankfully. Hopefully will be out by next year, as promised. We don't know when exactly, but hopefully not too much after. The new game by Suda51 looks pretty much part of the course of his own stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. Silent Hill F, again, it's written and handled by the person who did the Higurashi games, so I'm expecting something of high quality in terms of horror. So the trailer did convince me so far, I will say that. The new Bloodstain game, also expected but also welcomed. Same as for the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, which is basically the version that I'm gonna end up recording, might as well. This also ultimately confirms that probably War of Alliance will not get the backward compatibility program version unless it's a really dead month or something, because Square doesn't seems to prefer this approach of making remasters that can be multi-plat and enjoyed by as many people as possible, rather than sticking to the backward compatibility program in selected places. But again, who knows? Point is that the trailer convinced me on that too. Hopefully it has enough quality of life improvements that that's the thing. Some aside from voice acting, War of the Lions on the PSP did some minor changes that were bizarre. For example, it removed the battle quotes before characters were casting a spell, which were kind of a cool thing that the original PlayStation version had, and it suffered from a lot of slow-mo. Currently, one of the most known fixes on ROM hack is actually one that fixes the frame rate slow-mo of War of the Lions, so I probably would have used that in the game, but with this version, there is no need. We'll have to see actually when it releases. Baby Steps continues to be basically a fun simulator in the same way that the Sisyphus simulator or Getting Over It with Benedict Foddy, is. Hirogami looks fine. Same also for Sword of the Sea, I think it's called, the new game done by the Abzu and the Journey, Flow and Flower team. Neo 3, while, not leaked or anything, it was expected to happen at some point. So, hopefully, like I said, it will be better than 2 in story-wise. Gameplay, there has been a inclining curve of improvement, as mentioned, although, as Pedro noted, the loot problem is still a thing. Also happy to see the new Ninja Gaiden done by the Blasphemous team. No news yet on more Ninja Gaiden 4, but to be fair, we might see that at the Xbox show because it was announced there because Microsoft is pumping money into that. It seems again a tactic that the big three are having to basically gather third-party titles and have them making games that they themselves can publish to keep the exclusivity deal to some fashion. We already had seen an example with Soul of a Ronin from also Tecmo Koei, but also we're seeing stuff like the Dust Plods for Nintendo Switch 2, or in this case, of course, Ninja Gaiden 4. But again, it's an observation more than anything. The Mortal Kombat collection looks fine. It's just a reminder about the fact that a lot of the other studios working for WB Games have been gutted recently, so it has a more bittersweet angle. But again, at least I'm glad that this exists. So I will take that, for what it's worth. And again, as Pedro said, Digital Eclipse, is good enough to be trusted on that front. Now we'll have to see what happens when it comes to the PS2 game. Also, shock of shock, they did not included Legends, Mythologies, Sub-Zero, and I forgot the name, Special Forces. How could they?
It's the thing.
Yes,
when it comes to that game, unfortunately, it also probably has to do because the Eclipse engine, which is the engine that Digital Eclipse uses, their emulation engine. It works for arcade 2D pixel. When it comes to doing something like PS, when it comes to, here's how I know Mortal Kombat 4 is going to be the arcade version, because their Eclipse engine is not done to emulate games with 3D graphics. It's only because let me rephrase that. Games that go past the mid-90s arcade era, basically, like games that have much more, like that are more demanding. Digital Eclipse has yet to do something like that. That's why we don't have Forbidden Memories or the PS2 games in the early days collection of Yu-Gi-Oh. So I get the feeling it also probably, sadly, is also a limitation of what the Digital Eclipse's engine can do, sadly. That being said, honestly, at this point, I'll take what I can get.
Pretty much. Especially because Warner Bros. Normally doesn't even do much in terms of preservation of old games, so this is kind of unprecedented. It really screams to me that it was more like a Digital Eclipse forwarding themselves more than anything.
At this, trust me, all things considered, in today's day and age, this is the best possible scenario, so I'll take it.
Anyway, as for the rest, Tides of Tomorrow, as me and Jova noted, has an interesting idea in how is a choose your own adventure kind of thing, but we'll have to see if the execution actually stands up to that. And lastly, talking about also 007 First Light, it looks what to be expected from a licensed James Bond game done by our studios. We'll have to see what happens. The Chris Pine lookalike seems fine, but I have to hear more about how he sounds like. The Thief VR game actually was a good surprise. I know about your complaint about the disemboweled head hands, Jova. I get it, but at the same time I'm glad that the IP is still alive. We'll have to see if it's a sequel to Thief 3 with the younger that Garrett recruited, or if it's a new continuity on its own. hopefully it's not based on
I'm
the
fine
Square
with the
Enix game.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I'm fine with the IP being alive. Like, I never said, oh, this shouldn't, that, you know, like, well, it shouldn't live over this. It's just said that, like, you know, Disembodied Hands is just a pet peeve of mine. But look, it seems to work for a lot of people, so I'm fine with that. And, like, look, it's better this than the franchise be dead, yeah.
Lastly, Ghost of Yotei, again, we'll have to see what the July State of Play does. And small note before concluding with the Marvel Toko, I'm glad that some of the upcoming months are having better classics coming to the backward compatibility program, because the last couple of months have been kind of a slump. So again, I'm glad that we're improving on that aspect. Okay, lastly, the Marvel fighting game, which already was a surprise, but yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on this one, and Dr. Doom is in it, which is already an instant buy for me. The only character I really want in terms of priority will have to be Deadpool at this point, but eventually will arrive. Again, even if it's not immediately, eventually. So again, this has the potential to be actually a very interesting game as a service that can potentially be alive for a while if they do not screw it up. Fingers crossed. And yeah, I like the design. The interview maybe went on a bit too much. They could have done the usual approach of saying the state of play is over, but if you can stay tuned, there's, you know, a developer interview and anything. But again, it's nice to know if you're actually into that kind of thing. So that's it. As mentioned, it's weird that a lot of first-party titles that we know are supposed to arrive, like Wolverine, are not arriving. But at the same time, it's a reflection of the state of the gaming industry where, okay, Nintendo is faring better, but both Sony and Microsoft are clearly slumping behind for different reasons. And people are basically sticking just to either the mobile market, Nintendo, which is basically just a solid bastion on its own, or PC. And if nothing changes in the upcoming months, not helped by real-life events that I'm sure I don't have to remind anyone about, it might not improve on that front, especially if the companies want to keep this level of high profile, high quality, high budget for their games, because it's not sustainable on the long run. Astrobot showcased that you can have a more bite-sized down game that focuses on different aspects without having to rely over it too much and having to stress too much the developers. So again, hopefully that is a sign of, you know, similar games to come, so that you know, Sony's teams are not too overworked on that matter. We'll have to see. Oh, and that VBD also did not mention, again, new Astrobot update. That's always a plus. And that's it. So stay tuned for the Summer Game Fest video and in general for the next State of Play. See ya.
See ya.
Alright, yeah.